When talking about hunger, explosiveness, and lethal technique, one name begins to roar louder and louder. Diego Lopes. The murderer, born in Brazil and adopted by Mexico, has shown that he does not need many years in the elite to become a real nightmare inside the octagon. With an aggressive, dynamic style and always ready to look for finishing, Lopes does not fight to win by points. He fights to finish. Lopes has ignited fans with performances that exude pure adrenaline. In a very short time, his name has gone from being an unknown promise to becoming one of the most dangerous sensations in his division. Today, we will relive his best battles, those wars that have put him in the crosshairs of the entire world of mixed martial arts. But before you jump into action, subscribe. Diego Lopes was born in Brazil in 1995, and at 28 years old, he has become one of the most exciting fighters on the international scene. From a young age, he showed a natural talent for mixed martial arts with a solid foundation in jiu-jitsu and a style as aggressive as it was technical. His jiu-jitsu instructor offered him to move to Mexico to teach, and at just 19 years old, Lopes accepted the challenge. On Mexican soil, he not only dedicated himself to training fighters, but soon resumed his own career with more hunger than ever. Mexico became his second home, the place where his style evolved and his name began to resonate more strongly. And it was precisely there that he found the platform that would catapult him to a new level. The Lux Fight League. On October 5, 2018, Diego Lopes lit up the stage of Lux 003, facing Luis Guerrero in a match that would mark his arrival in the Mexican League. From the start, he was dominant, taking the fight to the ground with impeccable precision. He didn't need more than the first round to close a withering submission that left Guerrero with no way out. The ovation from the public was not only for the victory, but because that day a real threat was born in the division, and the best was yet to come. His next big challenge came on March 15, 2019 at LUX 004, against the experienced Ronnie Jason, an opponent with extensive experience and respect within the sport. The fight was a 3-round war, where Lopes showed mettle, cardio, and strategy. He did not look for the stroke of luck. He wore him down, controlled him, and convinced the judges with a solid performance that gave him the victory by unanimous decision.
Efectivamente, mi queridísimo en la cabeza, Ronnie Jason.
Con la pierna que no está lastimado en el segundo round, explotó. Se está llevando bien este round, está siendo muy paciente.
A battle that confirmed that he was not a passing fighter, but a rising contender. The peak moment came on November 29, 2019 at LUX 007, when Diego Lopes faced featherweight champion Marco Beltran. The expectation was enormous, as Beltran was a consecrated name with a past in the UFC, but Lopes was not intimidated.
And the experience of Solano. Wow, look at Lopes with a combination. Going quick. Working, deceiving his opponent. Lopes just kicked into another.
Just in the first round, he found the perfect opening to apply a devastating knee bar that forced the champion to submit.
Misses on the elbow. The punishes with two straight rights. Wow, he's got a little bit of room. Oh, he's readjusted. It's over.
With that spectacular submission, Diego Lopes not only won the fight, he was crowned the new monarch of the division and took the spotlight of the entire public. His reign was soon put to the test, On March 12, 2021 at LUX 012, he defended the belt against Mazio Fulin. It was a champion defense with all the letters. Lopes showed calmness, confidence, and jiu-jitsu of another level.
Oh, Diego, very compact with his... He pushed him back, and Mazio is in trouble. Wow, Diego turning it on.
Until he caught his opponent's arm and closed a perfect armbar that sealed his victory.
Here, and maybe look for an arm. There's danger going for the... What a transition! Unbelievable!
With this successful defense, his legacy in the LX Fight League was etched as that of a dominant champion. But his ambition pushed him further. He wanted a place in the world's elite. That dream began to materialize on August 31, 2021, when he appeared at Dana White's Contender Series 37 to face Joanderson Brito. It was the perfect showcase. Winning there meant opening the door directly to the UFC.
Resilience.
There you go.
Not getting long. Big lands a couple on the way out.
The fight was intense and dramatic, with fierce exchanges and a pace that kept the crowd on the edge of their seats.
Their feet. Big right.
Counter right hook there.
Great lefts from Lopes.
However, fate played against him. After an accident in the fight was stopped and Lopes lost by technical decision. A hard blow which left many thinking that their big opportunity had slipped out of their hands. But the story of Diego Lopes is not one of defeats, but of resilience. That fall did not extinguish him, on the contrary, it ignited his hunger for glory even more. And although it seemed that he would have to wait a long time to enter the most famous octagon in the world, fate had a surprise in store for him. Just 5 days before a historic event, he received an unexpected call. An emergency replacement was needed at UFC 288. Without hesitation, Lopes accepted, with little time to prepare and everything against him. He decided to take the leap. It was the beginning of a new chapter. Diego Lopes was about to make his debut in the UFC, the pinnacle of mixed martial arts, and the whole world was about to find out what he could really do. The big leap came on May 6, 2023, when Diego Lopes made his UFC debut at UFC 288. Sterling versus Cejudo, facing none other than Movsar Evloev, an undefeated and top featherweight player. Lopes accepted the fight with just days' notice, and still entered the octagon, as if he had waited his whole life for that moment. From the first second, he showed no fear. He attacked with his jiu-jitsu, looked for explosive submissions, and kept the undefeated against the ropes on several occasions.
Reportedly, this is the one Evloev showed.
He tagged him! Lopes tagged him hard! Oh, Movsar gets him down!
The fight turned into a bloody war, with standing exchanges and spectacular transitions on the ground that made the crowd vibrate.
13th knockout artist Jorginho Rose. ABC.
As like Evloev. Oh! And have some... Oh! Right hand by Evloev.
Body work from Movsar. Lead elbow there. Nice count.
Although the judges finally gave the victory by unanimous decision to Evloev, Lopes' debut was so fierce that he took the fight of the night bonus, and above all, the absolute respect of the fans. From that day on, the world knew that Diego Lopes had come to the UFC to stay. The opportunity to redeem himself came quickly. On August 5, 2023 at UFC on ESPN 50, he faced Gavin Tucker. This time, there were no doubts. There were no judges. Lopes came out determined to get his first victory in the octagon. As soon as the bell rang, the intensity was overwhelming. He pressed Tucker aggressively, brought him to the ground, and there he deployed his most lethal weapon, jiu-jitsu.
La siguiente es el movimiento.
Ahí sí, ese no es de punto.
A Diego por encima, sabe que...
Mira.
Mira, y cayó en triángulo.
With a quick and accurate movement, he caught his opponent's arm and closed a brutal armbar in the first round. Tucker had no choice but to surrender.
Wow, sí.
It was the perfect ending. Diego Lopes achieved his first victory in the UFC, and he did it with a spectacular submission that lit up the entire arena. The celebration was a clear message. A born finisher had arrived in the featherweight division. But the story didn't stop there. On November 11, 2023 at UFC 295, Diego Lopes faced Pat Sabatini, a grappling specialist and a tough opponent that many thought could neutralize him. However, Lopes did not give him space for a second. From the beginning, he surprised him with devastating offensive pressure, connecting accurate shots that began to open Sabatini's defense.
Leones de cinturón negro, que ya dio su sorpresa en la pelea en pie, pero saca muy bien las caderas López para defender el derribo, no una vez, sino dos.
The cage became the scene of a storm of punches that ended with a TKO in the first round.
Y lo toca, ya lo tocó. Por segunda victoria López. Y esto termina rápidamente.
The audience exploded to see how Lopes was not only a master of submissions, but also a striker capable of finishing anyone. With this victory, Diego cemented his place as one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. On April 12, 2024, at the historic UFC 300, Diego Lopes shone again, this time against Sodiq Yusuff, an opponent with heavy hands and a great reputation. Lopes did not shrink. He came out to exchange fire from the beginning.
Sadiq checked that one though and landed.
The fight was a whirlwind of intensity, with Lopes combining precise punches that ended up knocking Yusuff down in the first round. He won by TKO, proving that his finishing power had no limits.
Lopez fight, we'll see if Yusuff has
But the most remembered thing about that night was what happened next. In a fit of euphoria, Lopes jumped out of the cage to celebrate with his fans. The Nevada Athletic Commission decided to fine him $5,000 of the $100,000 he had won. But that didn't matter. That jump was the image of a warrior who lived his dream to the fullest, with all his heart. On June 29, 2024 at UFC 303, Diego Lopes faced one of the most chaotic moments of his career. Originally, he was supposed to fight Brian Ortega at featherweight. But a day before the event, everything changed. Ortega could not make weight. The fight went to lightweight, and to everyone's surprise, the same day of the event, Ortega was out. In his place appeared Dan Ige, who accepted the last-minute fight at a catch weight of 165 pounds. The uncertainty was total, but Lopes, true to his style, did not hesitate for a moment to accept the challenge. From the first round, the fight was a clash of styles. Ige, with his solid boxing, sought to connect his heavy hands, while Lopes bet on pressure and constant rhythm.
Лопес остаться невредимым.
Причинам чуть больше осторожно складывается на хай-кик, кто понимает.
In that initial round, Lopes managed to make the difference with well-placed kicks and quick combinations that slowed Ige's advance. The second round was closer. Ige had a good moment connecting a clean right hand that forced Lopes to retreat. But the Brazilian-Mexican responded with a spectacular knockdown that turned the scales and kept him up with control.
Коронка. А Диего мало кто что знал. Ух ты!
In the third round, Lopes showed the maturity of a true contender. Although Ige tried to force the exchange, Diego managed the distance with jab and low kicks, closing with combinations that made it clear who was in control. When the decision came, there was no doubt. A unanimous victory for Diego Lopes. Beyond the result, what surprised the world was his ability to adapt to an unexpected opponent at a different weight and without prior study time. That night, Diego not only won a fight, he showed that he could triumph in any circumstance. And finally, on September 14th, 2024, at UFC 306, came the confrontation that everyone had been waiting for. Diego Lopes against Brian Ortega. This time, there were no last-minute changes or excuses. It was the duel that the fans were looking forward to. The fight was a real technical battle where Lopes showed his maturity as a fighter.
Was unable to healthily. Oh! Huge early connection!
It's so quick.
Oh! Ortega goes down again!
Ortega, with his experience and world fame, tried to impose his pace, but Lopes responded coolly, combining striking and strategic control. For 3 intense rounds, he stayed in front, taking the best positions and landing the clearest punches.
I'm more prepared. I'm better than I was even then. Shouldn't I be confused?
Oh! Left hand for Lopes! Chasing a finish in the waning seconds, now trying to get on the back of him.
When the verdict came, the judges gave him the victory by unanimous decision, thus crowning one of the most important triumphs of his career. That night, Diego Lopes not only beat a consecrated name, he confirmed that he himself was already a UFC star. And now, with a road full of memorable battles, Diego Lopes does not stop. His next stop is marked on the calendar on September 13, 2025, when he will face John Silva. It will be a new litmus test, a new war to show that its story is just beginning. After everything he has shown, the world is eagerly waiting to see if Diego Lopes will continue to write chapters of glory inside the octagon. The adrenaline is already in the air because the next battle promises to be unforgettable. On April 12, 2025, at UFC 314, Volkanovski versus Lopes. Diego Lopes faced Alexander Volkanovski, one of the most dominant and complete champions in the division. From the first second, the intensity was absolute. Volkanovski looked to impose his rhythm with quick combinations and constant pressure, forcing Lopes to move, dodge, and anticipate every attack.
Doesn't he? Start saying, come on, let's go.
Connection by Volkan, now a big right hand follows.
Lopes calmly and confidently responded with surgical precision. His punches were measured, his movements strategic, and his vision of the octagon impeccable. Each exchange generated excitement in the crowd, which could feel the clash of two styles that sought to impose their authority in the octagon. The second round raised the tension to the maximum. Volkanovski tried to corral him against the cage, but Lopes turned quickly and found the perfect opening. A hook followed by a clean uppercut that shook everyone present. The fight became a duel of endurance and heart, a clash of skills where every second counted. Lopes not only responded to Volkanovski's aggressiveness, but also sought to dominate the fight, showing control, creativity, and the ability to anticipate the champion's movements.
And it's exact. It's right together.
In the following rounds, the fight became a show of technique, strength, and unbreakable will, where every action could change the course of the fight. At the end of the 5 rounds, the judges awarded the victory to Alexander Volkanovski by unanimous decision. In the main event of UFC 314, however, that defeat did not bring Diego Lopes down. His performance had shown his talent, his courage, and his ability to face the best in the world. Even as he left the octagon, his sights were already set on his next big challenge, the showdown against Gene Silva, scheduled for September 13, 2025. A fight that promised to be historic and decisive for his legacy. If you think Diego Lopes has what it takes to win the long-awaited confrontation against John Silva, click on the video, subscribe to tell you the best of these UFC beasts, and comment. See you in the following video.